I am 72 years old, and I'm going to tell you something most people only understand when it's already too late. Ignoring your health doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like responsibility, work, strength. It feels like doing what needs to be done. I believed that for 40 years. There was always something more important than taking care of my body. Work came first. Responsibilities came first. Health was left for later. I told myself that the exhaustion was normal, that the pain would pass, that my body could handle it. And for a long time, it seemed like I was right, until the day it demanded everything at once. Before I tell you what happened, understand this. I'm not here to scare you or pretend to be wise. I'm here because I can't go back in time. And maybe you still can, because the bill always comes due. The only question is when and how much you'll have to pay. And I paid dearly. For a long time, I thought I was doing the right thing. I worked hard. I didn't complain. I didn't miss work. I did what was expected of me. I wasn't irresponsible. I just believed that health was something you took care of when there was time left. And there was never any time left. There was always a new goal, a new bill, a new responsibility. And every small sacrifice seemed harmless. One poorly slept night here, one pain ignored there, one medical checkup postponed just for one more year. The problem is that the body doesn't work like the mind. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't wait for the perfect moment. While I thought I was buying time, I was actually accumulating debt. And debts with the body don't come due gradually. They all come due on the same day. And when that day arrived, I realized that nothing I had built had prepared me for what came next. At 58, my body simply stopped. It didn't happen during extreme effort. It wasn't a dramatic moment. It was an ordinary day. I was working, as always, sitting, focused, doing what I had done my entire life. Then a strange pressure came in my chest. It wasn't a sharp pain. It was worse than that. It was a silent warning. I ignored it. I told myself it was fatigue, stress, lack of sleep. The same excuses I had repeated for decades. Minutes later, it became hard to breathe. The world felt distant. And the next thing I remember is the sound of machines and voices calling my name. I woke up in a hospital, tubes in my arms, monitors beeping, and my family standing there in silence, trying to look strong. It was there, lying in that bed, barely able to move, that something finally became clear to me. I wasn't having a health problem. I was paying for a lifetime of neglect. Everything I had pushed to later had arrived all at once. Lying in that hospital bed, I had time to think. Too much time. And that's when I realized the biggest lie I had been telling myself for 40 years. I always said, I'll take care of my health later. Now isn't the right time. My body can handle it. That phrase, my body can handle it, destroyed more than any excess ever did. because the body can handle it until the day it can't anymore. No one ever warned me that ignoring small signals doesn't make them disappear. It makes them accumulate. The fatigue you normalize today becomes exhaustion tomorrow. The pain you ignore becomes limitation. The checkup you postpone becomes a diagnosis. And here's the truth I learned too late. The body always collects. It can be patient. It can stay silent for years. But when it does collect, it collects everything at once, with interest. And lying there in that hospital, it became clear to me that there is no victory in sacrificing your health to buy time, because in the end, your health is what determines how much time you truly have. Everything starts small. That's how the mistake goes unnoticed. You wake up tired and call it a phase. You feel a different kind of pain and call it age. You sleep badly for weeks and call it responsibility. And every time you give a nice name to a bad signal, it becomes easier to ignore the next one. You trade sleep for work and call it discipline. You trade proper meals for urgency and call it productivity. You trade rest for results and call it maturity. The problem isn't a single choice. It's the quiet repetition. Because the body learns fast. It adapts to abuse. It keeps functioning even when exhausted, keeps moving even when it hurts, keeps responding even when it's asking for help. And that's what fools you. You look at yourself and think, see, I can handle it. But what you call strength is just temporary tolerance. And the more you push the limit, the fewer warnings the body gives. Until one day, it stops asking for attention. It simply shuts down. While I was in that hospital, I thought about people who had followed the same path I did. A friend of mine, a few years younger, always said he didn't have time to see a doctor. He worked too much, lived exhausted, took pride in it. He used to say, "After this project is over, I'll take care of it." The project ended. He didn't. A massive heart attack at home on an ordinary Sunday. 54 years old. At the funeral, someone said he was strong, responsible, hard-working. And I remember thinking how useless that word is when the body decides to stop. I also thought about my family, the looks I saw every day while I was hospitalized, looks of fear, of helplessness, from people who had always trusted that I would be there. I thought I was sacrificing my health for them. But in that moment, it became clear I was doing exactly the opposite. I wasn't protecting anyone. I was creating a risk that everyone would end up paying for with me. And this is the detail almost no one mentions. When you ignore your own health, you're not the only one who pays the price. People think the price of ignoring your health is the scare, the hospitalization, the diagnosis, but that's only the beginning. The real price comes later. Waking up every day knowing your body no longer responds the way it used to. Taking medications you never needed before. Measuring your energy the way you measure scarce money. freedom shrinks. Confidence in your own body disappears. And there's an even quieter price. The feeling of knowing all of this could have been avoided. Not with perfection, not with a fitness lifestyle, but with attention, with small choices made early. I didn't lose my health all at once. I gave it up little by little, thinking I was buying myself time. Today I know what I used to call focus was well-disguised neglect, and what I used to call sacrifice was simply postponing the bill. After that day, a lot changed, not because I wanted to, but because I was forced to. The pace slowed down, priorities became clearer, and some choices I had postponed for decades were made in a matter of weeks. I started listening to my body, not out of discipline, but out of necessity. I started sleeping more, saying no with less guilt, respecting limits I had pretended didn't exist. And here is the hard part to admit. None of this was impossible before. I didn't need to wait for a hospital, machines beeping, and the real fear of dying to understand this. Everything I've come to value now, time, energy, presence, I could have protected years ago. But I confused endurance with strength and urgency with importance. Today I know this. Health is not something you recover after life settles down. It's something you protect while everything is still working. Now let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with yourself. What has your body been trying to warn you about that you've been ignoring for months, maybe years? Which symptom have you normalized because admitting there's a problem would be inconvenient? How many times have you told yourself, it's just a phase, and that phase never ended? You call it focus. You call it responsibility. You call it sacrifice. But if nothing changes, where exactly does this lead? Because I'm speaking to you from the future. I am the after, and I can guarantee you one thing. The body doesn't forget. It only waits. So do something simple. Not tomorrow. Not when you finally have time. Today. Stop ignoring one clear warning from your body. Cut one routine that drains your energy, and treat your health as non-negotiable, not as a luxury for later. I am 72 years old. If I had understood this at 40, my old age would be completely different, not higher in status, not more impressive, but freer. Ignoring your health doesn't kill you quickly. It kills you slowly, and it collects the full price in the end. If this made you stop and think, share it. Leave a comment. What is the one sign you will stop ignoring starting today? Because the bill always comes due. The only question is whether you'll be ready when it does.